This morning, we have Kat here with us. Thank you for joining us. Can you guys hear me okay? Because it says my mic is muted. So somebody online, let me know if.
Yeah, you got thumbs up.
Yes.
Okay, all right, because obviously we've got two mics here, but so we're gonna go over some office procedures, the referral form, which some of you seem to not know how to fill out. Most important is the CDI, and we've got Title here to help us with some of what they need to see on the CDI, and how some of those things work. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with, oops, our office procedures. And just to give you an idea, we are going to talk about working docs, where to find them. Some people use transaction desks, some people use SkySlope forms. So depending on which platform, or some of you still use zip forms, believe that or not. But if you're doing that, then you have to go find our working docs. So want you to know where those are. And then the pre-contract setup. So we've got buyer broker agreements, and we have also tenant broker agreements, which we're going to talk about. Then, of course, we talked about the CDI, that stands for Commission Distribution Instructions. And there are two different ones. One is for sales, and then the CDI for rentals or referrals, because we'll talk about referrals. So we'll bring that up. A little different form, and we know some of you are struggling with that set of documentation, so we'll hopefully be able to help you with that. Then we have referral agreements and how to process those. So we're going to start with actually the pre-contract. Can anybody share with me, for the purchase, there are 5 documents now that you need, 5. Anybody want to share what the first document that should be a part of that before you do anything with a client is? What?
BBA, buyer
The
broker.
buyer pre-contract is the buyer broker exclusive employment agreement. And yes, we have another one, the showing agreement. I get that. But for the most part, you guys should be using the BBEEA, the buyer broker exclusive employment agreement. Number 2, what would be the second document?
I've heard you go both back and forth. Affiliated business buyer advisory.
The
There's a
ready,
new- What?
ready.
The ready form, agency, or the ready form, right? Real estate agency disclosure and election.
Oh, that's right.
So that would be a critical one. And then we probably could go to the ABA, Affiliated Business Arrangement and Marketing. A lot of folks don't think you should send this over with your documentation. Our commissioner believes otherwise. So please understand, this is not from us. This is the commissioner's words, that if you are asking, especially if you are asking for title or using a specific lender, you need to disclose if you have affiliations with those. Now, that is not just for our ABA. If you have specific title or lenders or other companies that you work with regularly, you better have an ABA for you and be disclosing if you are getting any type of compensation. That must be disclosed. That is, RESPA and all those other things. If you've got arrangements like that, if you've got, what are they called? A junior,
JV.
a JV,
Venture.
Joint venture.
joint venture with somebody, that absolutely should be disclosed. If you have a joint venture, our designated broker needs to read that contract, by the way. So if you have a JV, please get that over so Ron can review that. Then your buyer advisory, we only need page 13 signed. So please understand, you do not need to load that whole thing up. Send it in. By the way, it is a huge file if you use it. So please understand that. The 5th is wire fraud. And then for those that don't know, those 5 are now under our pre-contract. So please get those done in advance. For the tenant pre-contract, Kat is going to explain how to actually put that in, because that is the confusing part. However, with a tenant, guess what? You still really do need that tenant broker employment agreement. Now, is it required? Not really, because the lawsuit didn't apply to it. However, I recommend you spell that out with your tenant to understand how you're going to be paid. Because again, if you don't do that tenant broker and then you do an SCA, doesn't really work without the tenant broker agreement. So you need that. So think about that. The ready form, of course, you need the same agency. It is the buyer version. So buyer, tenant work together parallel. So go ahead and grab that. Number 3 is the tenant advisory. In my transaction desk, I was able to pull that up as a form. But if you can't find it, it is under aaronline.com. We just need page 4, but since it's so small, you're probably going to grab the whole thing anyway. And then the 4th, I do advise go ahead and send the wire fraud. I know that doesn't often apply, but the reality is oftentimes tenants are asked to send money. Same rules apply, right? Who are they sending it to, and are they taking steps to make sure that they know where that money is going? All right, so we've got somebody taking a photo, so we'll let him take a photo before we go any further. You should be able to, yeah, just swing that, yeah. So I guess you could watch that, but it goes up there. Okay,
Oh, does
let's.
it really?
Yeah, that was
Sorry.
up there. That's okay. All right, so today we have a special guest. Kat Brannon is our office administrator. By the way, if you ever see us say something like the OAs, that's what that stands for, is office administrators. We have 2 here. Heather is watching the front desk while Kat is in with us. So she's going to go over where to find those working docs and how to complete them. Now, here's the thing. We have to figure this one out. I'm going to stop sharing. And Kat is now going to share, and we're going to hope we can find the documents.
Oh, hold on. I guess if I minimize, can I minimize this or
Yeah.
make it smaller?
You can make it smaller. So let's find yeah, okay.
I need to be in
That one.
this one.
Okay, so go back, yep, hit the zoom and share that screen.
Exciting stuff, y'all.
She's doing great. You got it. So we had to work hard with this because actually the administrators and my account does not look this way. Go ahead and click on this right here just to, well, that's fine. We can see over here, so you're good.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so this is the agent view of SkySlope. This is where you're going to come to enter in any listing or transaction. This is also where you're going to find your working documents, meaning your ABA, CDIs. There's a few other documents in there you might use. It just kind of depends on the transaction. So first, this is what your screen is going to look like when you get into SkySlope. Melissa can see everybody. That's why their numbers were so big on this. So first I'm going to show y'all how to set up a pre-contract. And to do that, you're going to hit create new. And anytime it's a pre-contract using the BBA, it's always going to be a transaction. So it's going to take you to this page here. Some people get a little bit confused, but you're just going to select your representation type. There's going to be a couple of options on this. Okay, couple of options on here. You've got purchase, both purchase and listing. You're never going to use that. Let me just rephrase, you'll never use that. You do have lease tenant and then both lease tenant and landlord. Anytime you're doing a pre-contract, whether it's a purchase or a lease, you are going to select purchase. Then you have your 2 options, pre-contract or under contract. So you're going to start with your pre-contract. So then once you have selected that, it's going to give us, this is if it's linked to SkySlope Forms. So if you're using Transaction Desk, you're not going to want to link any files. If you are using SkySlope Forms, this is where you could link your SkySlope Forms file to SkySlope. In this case, we're not going to
Just hit continue.
link anything. All right, who is the transaction on this agent or the transaction agent? It's going to be you. So we're going to use Melissa. Which one
use
should
the
I
bottom
do?
one.
Okay. And then typically this would auto-populate. The reason it's not is because this is her broker account, but yours will auto-populate with your office. On the property type, it's depending on what you're doing, but in this case, we're going to select residential. Sub-property type, now this is pre-contract, so you're still looking, it could change, but I would just select whatever you're out looking with your clients. So in this case, we're going to do single family residence, and then on the property checklist, you're going to have a couple of different options here, but what you're looking for is residential traditional. That just means that you are only representing the buyer of the transaction. So then we're going to continue. So then this is where you're going to put your buyer's information. The company name, if they are in an LLC, just select trust or company and you'll enter it here. In this case, who are we doing?
With Sarah
Sarah.
O.
Oh,
Smith, I think. I
I
don't
think
know.
that's what you had.
I had fun with names last night.
Okay, and then you will need to put in your client's actual email. Please make sure it is their information. Right now, I'm just going to be entering in information to get us past this, but make sure this information is accurate.
And why is it important to have that information accurate?
Because if it's not, then we cannot contact anybody if something does happen.
And that is actually a really serious issue because let's say you're on vacation and are out of pocket and all of a sudden somebody calls and we have no way to reach your client. We have to be able to contact them. You're going, I don't need this information because I have it in my phone. Guess what? If you're not here, we don't have your phone. And even if we had your phone, we couldn't get onto your phone. So please understand how important that contact information is there. Please fill that out. I know we add stuff in later on, but when you first set this up, it's critical you have both a name, a phone number, and an email in there for us.
If you had another buyer, you would just add them right here and fill in that same information for them. In this case, we're going to continue. Okay, so now we have our pre-contract checklist. These are the 5 documents that Melissa went over with you earlier. Your agency, ABA, buyer broker, and buyer advisory. To upload these, you have a couple different options. You can attach here individually. You would just either upload here or you can drag and drop. The other thing you are able to do is bulk upload your documents. So that is what we're gonna do.
So just to make sure you guys all saw, she clicked the tab at the top there to the right of checklist is something called documents. So when you go in there, even if you've added stuff to your checklist, you can see all the documents that have been uploaded. Just because they're not in the checklist doesn't mean that they're not in the file.
And then I'm going to select upload document right here. This is, hold on, y'all.
Yep.
So these documents are all in one attachment, and they have to be split up for your checklist. But luckily, SkySlope gives us an option to split them. So you're going to select the little checkbox right here, and then you're going to want to select split.
The cool thing is if they are actual AAR documents, the system already uses AI and knows most of that breakdown. So it's liable to give us all of those.
It didn't do it.
Did not.
Dang it. I was
That's
hoping
fine.
it would. Okay, so our first one is our buyer broker. And we know that is 3 pages, so that goes from page 1 to 3. I know, it always does it. Okay, so then next we have our agency. And this is going to be 2 pages, so that'll go from 4 to 5.
And you can see on the right-hand side, it already knows where the checklist item is by her putting in the actual titles. So, wire fonts, just one
One
page.
page, and then we have our buyer advisory.
We also should have the ABA someplace.
I think it's right after this. That's one page. Yeah, ABA, starting on page 8. And we're gonna take that all the way to page 9. So now everything is going to be placed in a placeholder when I click split and assign. So now I'll go back to the checklist. And you can see everything has been uploaded into its placeholder and split off from the other documents.
And you can click the paperclip to see what is attached. That's why it's a paperclip.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's how you would open a pre-contract file. One thing to know, when you are now under contract, somebody, you write a contract, it's accepted. You're not going to open a separate file. You're going to come here to the gold accepted contract button and select that so that it keeps your buyer broker documents up top with your actual transaction documents.
And if you're missing documents there, you don't have a gold accept contract. So you've got to put in what is needed there in order for you to get that gold bar to accept the contract.
Yep, it's gray. If you don't have everything in there, it's gray. So everything that is required on the checklist has to be uploaded to be able to take that next step.
Okay. So rather than have you do the
That
other
again.
one, and the lease is the same thing. You're actually not going to be able to fill in, you won't add the ABA, but you'll add the rest of them on the lease, because you have to go under the purchase side of this. The reason for that is they did not set up a separate sky slope for the pre-contract for the lease. So just use the other one, and then when you get ready to transition it, that checklist type will be changed. You're gonna have to do residential traditional initially, and then when you actually go to accept the contract, you can modify that checklist type. Can you go over to the transaction details on the top left so people can see when you go into there, you will be able.
It's not gonna, because this is what the
It's a
pre-contract
pre-contract,
showed.
sorry. You have to go into the thing and then you can change it later. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's why you can't change it on this. But once you have hit the accepted contract, it is going to look a little bit different. It's just gonna have your street name, your different checklist type, and representation type, so you are able to adjust that then.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, what happens if I don't know where to get the working documents to do some of these things?
Well, let me show you.
Have fun putting off each other today. Saturday night.
Oh, no.
There you go.
It's
Did anybody notice the name I used? Just, I was having fun with Kat. The other one you aren't gonna see. We'll see if we go
It
up to
took me
it.
back to the screen.
Uh,
Can I go
That's what
back
you want?
to,
oh,
it says it's not the agent side. It's back to my auditor view.
just go back in there and
Go back
click
in
it
there and
again.
click it. Okay.
Again, the view you have is not the view we normally have, which is our problems usually when we're teaching. So they gave us this little cheat screen that we can go into and show you. And the biggest concern for you guys is trying to find this working documents.
So you're ready to write a CDI. So you're gonna come into SkySlope to find the working documents. You want to look for recent listings and transactions. And you're just gonna move over to the right and select the More drop-down menu. Once you've done that, working documents will be at the bottom. So you'll click there.
And here we go. There's two more steps. Oh, you're gonna get all of
I
it,
know.
aren't you?
Yeah. So you're only gonna see whenever you click on the Office Docs tab, you are going to then see these folders over here. You're only gonna have one. It's gonna show the office that you are a part of. So in this case, we're gonna use our Paradise Valley folder.
So you do have to click on it to open it. I think that's what confuses people. It's sitting over there, but you actually have to click on it to open it.
So then these are going to be the working documents that are available to you. sometimes you might need an adult community addendum if you're in Sun City, or the coming soon addendum. So a few of these are just ROG specific forms that you might need. This is where you would find any of them.
Hey, you know what? Could you go to page 2? Because I seem to get a lot of late submissions. There's actually a form for that. When they tell you you need to do a delay, doc delay letter, it must be on.
I think it's on page 3.
Yeah. This is an actual form, and the reason for this form is it goes into the file. If your file is audited, there are 2 things that are being tracked here. What was the reason for the delay, and what are you doing to make sure it doesn't happen again in the future? And you do sign that and load that into your file. The reason for that is that if the department audits your file and you've got one of these, okay, so you explained why. But don't be surprised if they go pull more of your files. So, if they start seeing a pattern that you are failing to comply with the commissioner's rules, and the statute of when these documents have to be in, it's part of your ICA, part of the statutes. They can fine you and they can say you have to go to classes. So please understand, I mean, we set the precedent with helping you understand what you may have made a mistake on. Look, I've had people go on vacation and yes, they forgot to load something in. Okay, great. So next time before you go on vacation, make sure your documents are in order before you leave town, right? Or have somebody there that can access those. But want to make sure you know that that's actually what we're asking for. Sometimes people handwrite stuff. It's like, yeah, please don't do that. Please fill that in. Thanks. So go back
Yep.
to your.
Of course. So the CDI is going to be on page 2. As you see here, we have a CDI for sales and a CDI for rentals and referrals. So I will first work on a CDI for sales. This is one that you're probably going to use more often unless you're doing a lot of rentals. So the trick with this that most people don't realize is to fill this in, you have to download the form.
It's not yours.
Mm-mm.
Okay, go ahead and talk and I'll fix this.
Okay, so once you open it, you are able to fill it in, but you do need to download it for it to be able to do all of the calculations properly. So, okay. So I'm just going to download this here.
No, it shouldn't be there. Go back up. I don't think
It's just
downloading that.
downloads. Okay, we're just gonna put it here with our training stuff.
Yeah.
So then you're going to open your download. It doesn't look much different, but the way that the form works, it does make a difference. So when filling in a CDI, we need to make sure we have all of our information correct. Typically, I start from the top and work my way down on the CDIs. So we'll just start with the date. For real. '26. Agent's name. You're going to put your property address. Make sure that this is accurate with the property. So we'll just do 1, 2, 3. And we do need the full address, people, not just the street name. Yeah, you know. Okay. So then you need to select what? Oh my gosh. Really?
I wasn't gonna correct you.
Okay.
again. I was gonna let it go.
So then you're going to select who you represent. Make sure this is accurate because if you do represent both sides, you do have 2 separate transaction fees. So for the form to be able to populate that, you need to select the right thing. In this case, we're just going to say that we represent the buyer. If you are on a team, you do need to select that you are on a team and put the team lead name, and they do need to sign it. Then we need the escrow information. So, I know.
We should have both Roberta and Art here today.
It's the default, it's just automatic.
Of course.
And then also, please make sure that you do actually put the escrow officer's email address. This is in case we need to reach out to get copies of anything. So make sure that you put the actual,
You said you don't know how to spell
I
his
know.
name.
art, really. So then you need to enter in your sale price of the property. So in this case, we'll just say 500,000. Don't put any commas or anything. Gets
It'll auto-
funky.
Yeah, it'll auto.
Yep. And then you need to do your commission amount. I'm gonna do a
Like,
0.03. No.
Yeah. So
Okay.
That's the one that's.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So sometimes you have to do 0.0, whatever your percentage is, or you just have to do your percentage. So as you see now, my total gross commission auto-populated, so that is 3% of the 500,000. Does show the transaction fee for this sale price based on the representation. So that is all good to go. The only other thing you would have to add there is if you're a mentee. Your mentee fee would go right here. And just a reminder, that mentee fee is off the total gross commission. Now, line 9 is going to be your name, and it needs to match your real estate license. If you do not know what that is, please give us a call. We're happy to let you know. You can also find it on the Arizona Department of Real Estate.
azre.com.
But it does need to match that. If it doesn't, we will tell you you're wrong. So your name is wrong.
So you have to put my.
You don't have a PLLC, so we're not going to worry about that. But as you can see, your number down here did subtract your $600 transaction fee. So in this case, if Melissa is getting the whole amount, I would just type the 1440 right on line 9 next to her name. If she was paying anybody else out, that is a part of Realty One Group, they would go on line 9 with their name also matching their license.
Line 10.
Line 10, sorry. But say she is going to buy her client a home warranty. So that's gonna be, it's gonna go in the customer credit line. So,
$650.
okay, $650 home warranty. Once you enter that, your number does change right here because you've allocated $650. So we've paid everybody out on the CDI that needs to be paid out. So we're going to place Melissa's commission amount on line 9 next to her name. This is now reflecting 0. This always needs to be 0. If it's not, something's wrong.
Get your number.
Yeah. You also need to be sure that you are selecting your office. We will reject it if you don't select it. So you'll just select on the drop-down menu, the Paradise Valley office.
So if you're being paid by Zelle, what do you need to do?
You are just going to select this box. Little check mark. We then, once we review it, we will actually change your CDI and you will send title the CD. We instruct you in your checklist, but we'll let you know which CDI needs to go to title. It's going to read Realty One Group because to be Zelled, we have to deposit it to then be able to Zell you. So it will sit, everything will be made out to Realty One Group if you are being Zelled. There is not a fee for Zell. We also offer a CDI addendum that title can either wire you directly or courier you your check. Now that is at your expense. Depends on your bank, depends on all that. So if you do use a CDI addendum, all at your own expense. Zell is free though. Then what you would need to do is save this and you need to sign it.
Okay, wait. Before you save it, it's not save, it's print to save.
Yes.
Because you have to lock down those numbers. So you
Mhm.
actually have to print it out as a PDF. And that's how, when she says save, that's how you have to save it. Because if you just save it normally on your computer, all those numbers will most likely disappear.
When you put it into the signing program, you'll see them, but once you get it into the signing program, usually the address disappears, some certain things will disappear and you'll know you didn't save it right. So just print to PDF and then you need to sign it. At this point, do not send this CDI to Melissa directly. Do not email it to us. Upload it into your SkySlope file. At that time, we will get prompted. We will review it to make sure that everything is accurate, meaning your name, the office address, and the math. We make sure the math maths. If you send it directly to Melissa, she is not going to sign it. So just let's save a step. Just upload it to the file. We'll review it. We'll send it for signature. You will get a copy once Melissa has signed it. But you are also in charge of then sending that CDI to title. That is not something that we do. That is on you. If you want to be paid, send title the instructions so they know how to pay you.
And the day after closing is not the time frame, maybe the day before, or
Mhm.
a week before.
Yeah. Typically, you don't want to do your CDI too soon, just depending on how the transaction is going to go. But I would typically say once you're through your inspection period, you can probably work on your CDI at that point in time. Maybe. But because you do want to get it to title so that they have time to do.
Sure, it's signed by the broker.
Yeah, do not send a CDI that is not signed by the broker.
Well, the other thing is if you send a CDI that is not signed by the broker and checks have to be recut, you are paying for those recut fees because you didn't send the right version over. That's on you.
Mhm.
So please understand that because there is a cost to have to rewrite checks. So
Yep.
we pass that on to you.
So that is what. Is there anything specific y'all want to add about the CDIs?
No, you covered everything that I was concerned about. The Zelle is the one that comes up for me. The agent will ask, so do you Zelle to me? And you covered that. The check does get made completely to
Mhm.
Realty One Group.
Perfect.
Neil, sorry.
And if you are doing a credit to your client, if you can just give us a note, heads up, so we know that to look for it, because a lot of agents don't, so sometimes it gets missed, sometimes it doesn't, but a little heads up would be a lot more helpful for everybody who needs it.
Especially if it is on the CDI and you just email it, here's the CDI, it's helpful for us to know ahead of time that, oh, and there is an agent credit.
Mhm.
Because
Well-
sometimes you don't get the addendum saying that there's a credit.
Right.
Okay? That's a lot of things that happen, there's an addendum for a credit to your client, which we never received, then we get instructions, and we're like, okay, well, what's the, yeah, yeah.
And remember, it's a little number at the bottom that just says credit. So it's really important that you communicate that in some other way than just leaving it on the bottom of that form. Especially if you're sending it in at the 11th hour, because title's already tried to balance everything. And if there's another credit in there, they have to know that.
Lenders get
That's-
upset.
And that's
Yeah.
usually what happens.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's presented to us so late, yeah.
So things just take.
And then we don't get the addendum, so I was closed before, got my addendum, not knowing there was other addendum, nobody told me there was other addendum. Thank God they didn't affect file.
The other thing I do want to touch on is going to be the referral line, which is line 14. This is if you are paying referral out to another brokerage. We do need the brokerage W-9, and the name that goes on line 14 is not the person you're paying out. It is that other brokerage. All we can do is pay that other brokerage. So if you upload a CDI and you have somebody in the referral line, but I don't have a referral W-9 in my file, it will be rejected, just so you are aware, because we do need to review that to make sure everything adds up and we don't have to recut any checks. So that is going to be the sales CDI. Now I'm going to show you the CDI for rentals and. Did someone
Sorry
have a
for
question?
that. So for
Yeah.
that referral,
Mhm.
I remember putting the brokerage name and I think it was the agent's name in parentheses on that same line. Is
You
that
can
good?
do like FBO, but whatever's on their
Yes.
W-9 is what needs to be listed first.
Yeah.
Just so that they don't have any issues. And honestly, the name after, it's helpful for us to be able to tell them who it goes to, but some brokerages have, depending on what they can deposit, it might affect that. But typically we're good if it's FBOs on the end.
Okay.
I got a question for you guys.
Okay.
On your instruction, it says if you want to be paid by sales, do not send us the title, so who ends up sending this?
No. There's another form.
Well, so all that happens is on this CDI, when we check it, we are going to change line 9 from that agent's name to Realty One Group. They will still send you the CDI, but it's going to be the one that reads Realty One Group, not their name. So that the whole check
You'll
comes
just
to
tell-
us.
You'll pull your 400 out of it and then you'll tell.
Yes.
Well,
Whatever.
remember, there could be multiple people on there, so you could be writing checks to some agents and then writing a larger one to Realty One Group.
The check
Right.
boxes align.
Right,
So we'll write it if
So one
it's
might get Zelle, the other two just want a regular check.
mhm,
yeah.
yeah. So it could differ, and some of them might use a CDI addendum to get wired directly from y'all. But that is going to be the gist of your sales CDI. Next, I will show you the CDI for rentals and referrals. This one is going to look a little bit different. It's a little, there's less to fill out. Let's put it that way.
But often done wrong, so.
Yes, more often than not, I would say.
Yeah, more often than not, I would say.
Okay, so remember,
Download first.
oh, download first. I know it looks like it's gonna work, but sometimes it just gets you. So the key is to download it and then open it.
I don't think you have to do that on that. I've never done it.
Oh, you should absolutely do it on a Mac because you have to open it in an Adobe folder.
I don't
And-
use it though.
I don't know how you're getting it to
I don't know
work.
how you're getting yours to work at all because,
Yeah, it works great. So,
Well-
so Mac has, its own, PDF.
Like editor.
Yeah, it works way better. That way you can actually use your, signature. That you just kind of.
It doesn't auto-populate. Does it auto-populate still?
Yeah. It totally
you're the
does.
only person that we've
Yeah.
heard say that because everybody else tries it on a Mac and can't do it.
Yeah, it's really easy.
Okay.
Yeah, super easy.
Love that for you. So on this one, you still will need the date, an address. Now, depending on, sometimes, because you're gonna use this for both rentals and referrals. Obviously, typically with referral, you're probably not gonna fill this out until we're telling you, hey, we got your check. But with a rental, you will have an address, so make sure that you put that on there. Now, this is going to be who you represent, either the tenant, landlord, both, or this is a referral. Just select who you represent.
If it's an unrepresented tenant, then you only represent the landlord. Don't click both if there's an unrepresented party, please.
Yes, because both indicates to us that you have to pay 2 transaction fees. So make sure you get it right. Just kidding.
Paying an extra.
They don't refund.
So total gross commission, this is going to be the total amount of the check. We're just going to make this easy and we're gonna say it is $1,100. So this co-broke line is going to be if you're paying out a referral. So if you represent the landlord and you are paying out, the tenant's agent, their co-broke would go right here. So it needs to be the company's name. We need a W-9 and then their amount will be right here. That will, if you are paying out a co-broke, that is going to make a difference on your transaction fee. Your transaction fee is going to come out of
Your commission.
your commission. So if you're paying somebody out, you're not going to get a transaction fee based off the total amount. But in this case, we'll just say that we're not paying anybody else out. So it's really awesome. There are instructions right here that tell you exactly how to do it. So if you have anything that is over $1,000, so $1,001,
1,001 cent.
1,001 cent, you pay a $200 transaction fee. Yeah, if it is under $8,000, it is going to be 10% of the total gross commission.
The only reason we're laughing, folks, you cannot imagine how many times we get the call. Hey, I'm getting $1,010. How much do I have to pay? $200.
Mhm.
But can't I? Nope. $200.
The other thing is too, is if it's 200 per every 5,000. So anything, you know, if you're getting up into $7,000, it's then $400. 10% of the total, if it's less than 1,000, 10% with a minimum of 25. So $25 is the minimum amount of a transaction fee that you will pay on.
Is that on there by chance? I don't remember if that was on there. I'm
Yep.
curious these for now. Okay, so
Yes.
that's $25.
Yep, it's right here in these little, both of these little lines explain,
Right.
Says
you know, if
$25.
it's a little small, but you can see it when you're working on it. It does give you the breakdown. Then your name as you're licensed goes right here. With their amount. So in this case, like we said, this is a $200 transaction fee. This one does not auto-populate for you though, so you do have to do your math.
You have to know math.
Mhm. So I did that right, yeah. Um, now sometimes agents are capped. You'll know if you are.
Cause you'll hate it.
If you are, you'll select agent
They
is
know.
capped. But if you are, you'll know. If you hit it, we tell you. You can also check it in your zone account. So if you're curious, you can give us a call. We're happy to let you know. It does reset for people at different times. So just give us a call. We're happy to help you out with that.
What's the gap?
You also need to select your manager on this one. You can't see my drop down. Oh, there it is. You're looking for Melissa.
I didn't even know that was on there.
And then you don't sign this CDI, only the broker does. It's a little bit different than your other one. But broker signs this one. This is not gonna, because anytime we're using a CDI like this, the whole check is made out to us. So you're giving us the instructions, the broker is signing off that everything looks good, so your signature is not necessary in this case. Any questions about this CDI?
Yeah, can you start over this guy?
Like, not quite.
Does anybody have any questions online? Rachel?
Yeah, I have a question. So the whole save to print part, is that going to be the same procedure for this as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Anytime you fill out a form like this, your best bet is to save it to a PDF so it locks in whatever you've put in there. Because if
Okay.
you just save the file, you don't know. And again, as Kat said earlier, it looks like it saved it, but when it goes into our system into SkySlope wipes it out.
Okay. Thank
So-
you.
So to do that, all you would do is print this file and then
Save as a PDF.
I actually do Microsoft.
Oh, that's
I
fine.
usually do Microsoft print to PDF for these. And then you can just upload it into any signing program and sign it. You could also, if you don't want to do that, you just want to print it out and hand sign it, you also can do that.
Well, they don't sign this version.
Not this
Just
version, but
the
the
other
normal,
two.
the sales CDI. You
Yep.
could do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, she's trying to run away.
No, I'm
Trying to run away. Okay,
Yeah, M&Ms.
let's just switch
okay. We'll switch spots.
spots. So
Thank
we can
y'all.
jump on to.
Yeah.
Oh, anytime.
Don't disappear. Okay, you
Right.
stick around. All right. Let me go out of here to the slide deck. And continue. Where are we? Slideshow. Okay, so left me with about 10 minutes here. I will try to get through.
I didn't think I'd be that.
That's okay. Let me just flip through here. I should have done this the other way. Okay, so we're going to talk about the referral fee agreement form. This is the one document. Well, I guess there are maybe two, but this is the one that you absolutely can send to me directly to sign. I'll get to that at the bottom. But let's go first and talk about the originating brokerage. This is the AAR referral fee agreement. There's an originating brokerage there, and then the bottom says receiving brokerage. So it's always kind of interesting. Who gets paid on a referral agreement? Is it the originating broker or is it the receiving broker? Anybody online want to guess? Everybody gets confused on this.
I'm not saying it out loud.
That's a good thing. It's the originating broker. So the originating broker is sending someone else the client and they're receiving the money. The funny thing is, I can't tell you how many times I get these documents and this is all I get. There's no agent's office address, city, state, zip code, broker firm, agent code. So if you want to be paid, guess what? The check has to get to us. If you don't send your address as a part of your referral agreement, it's really, really hard for them to get it to us. And somebody in accounting in some other company will look up Realty One Group. Now, there are 512 Realty One Group offices. There are 8
Roll the
here
dice.
in the Maricopa County area. So really, if you want to get paid, how about filling all that out, please? It's not that hard. And by the way, you send it to me for signature. I'm not kicking it back for that. That is your problem. You don't know how to fill out a form. It's too bad. Because I can tell you, Kat, how many times you have checks come in that you have no idea who they belong to?
More often than not, and you'd be surprised how often it's not even for our office.
Yep.
We have to mail it to one of the other offices that the agents actually.
So-
out of.
Truly, I recommend you figure out how to fill out this form. It's pretty simple. So please fill it in, right? So let's move on. Client information. Now, this is a catch-22, right? You're sending something over. I'm sending something to Kat here. I want you to take care of this. And I don't want to send them all the client information until they give me a signed copy that says, yes, I'm going to do it. That's okay. All right. Fill in what you can. Maybe you only put the name and the status of the client, that they're a buyer or seller, and that information. Maybe you don't do the phone and email. You write, will be provided after signed contract. That's okay. We're not as concerned with the client information as we are with the company's information, both the buyer and the receiving information, right? Because here's the thing, if we don't have the other company's information that's supposedly sending us a check, it's really hard. If we have a weird check come in and we're trying to decipher it, it's really helpful if we do have that information. Okay. Terms and conditions, referral fee, in consideration for the receipt of the referral of client. The receiving brokerage agrees to pay, here it is, agrees to pay originating brokerage as follows. Either a percentage of the total gross compensation, and by the way, those of you that are calculating this on your CDI, remember how we said, you have to go back up to the total gross. You don't subtract out your transaction fee. You don't subtract out your mentee fee. You don't subtract out what you're paying other people. It is the total gross. If you are paying 25% of the total gross, start with that top number. You cannot subtract anything out, period. This is kind of a national standard. It's of the total gross compensation earned by the receiving brokerage based on client's side of the transaction, or a dollar amount, right? So if it's not a percentage, I'm getting $5,000, that's what I'm getting, great. Along with the payment of the referral fee, the receiving brokerage shall furnish to the originating brokerage the final settlement closing statement. Now, we have had trouble getting those from some people. Not quite sure why the agent doesn't understand that they need to include that. We've had to track them down. Very rarely do we get executed lease agreements, but you could ask for it. If there's something else, you could certainly put in other or additional terms and conditions. But please do, you've got to put one or the other on line 22 or 23. I recommend you put final settlement closing statement so you know that they actually did take it off that total gross compensation, because otherwise you don't know. Now, here's put an X in the percentage and check that box for final settlement closing statement. Now, here we go to, I can't see this, sorry. This referral agreement shall commence on a specific date and shall end on a specific date. That is considered the term of this referral agreement. If client is party to a fully executed purchase contract or lease agreement prior to the expiration of the term, the referral fee will be paid regardless of when it actually closes. As long as they go under contract, then it may take another month or two to close. That's fine. You still get paid. Or let's say a new build, right? You have a new build and it takes a year. You still get paid. It's just that it happens during that term. I am fascinated recently with seeing more and more of these that are for 30 days or for 60 days. Like, wow. I don't know what market they're in, but I hope that they get the deal done in that time. I wouldn't do a 60-day referral, but if you want to, just understand that that's the entire time. If it goes past that, they owe you nothing. And people have said, but they closed a deal. They closed it 8 months after, and you did a 6-month referral. It's not yours, right? Conditions of the payments is subject to the originating broker's compliance with terms and conditions set forth herein. The referral fee shall be paid to the receiving by the receiving brokerage to the originating brokerage within 10 calendar days or blank calendar days of the date the commission is received by the receiving brokerage. Referral fee shall be paid on, and this is important, right? Any and all successfully completed transactions involving the client during the term, right? Or only the first successfully completed transaction involving the client during the term. Recently, I have had, see, I'm going to go back over this. When are you ending the term, right? And it's paid post that date. It can close after that date and you still get paid. But here's the thing, involving the client during the term. So if you do this for 2 months and they close in 6 months, you get nothing, right? But the funny thing is, all of a sudden, I'm seeing some that have come through with any and all successfully completed transactions, and it's for 6 months. How many deals are these people doing in 6 months? I mean, if you're doing that, why are you not doing a year or 2 years? This does not fall under the listing agreement guidelines that you have to do it within 1 year under Arizona law. Now, Arizona law does apply to this agreement, but it's a referral agreement. It's not a listing agreement under our state, right? So then it says the required documents, because we're getting the referral fee, the originating brokerage shall furnish to receiving brokerage a completed IRS Form W-9. By the way, that is underneath our working documents. Every January 1st, you can go pull that up. You will see one for our license for Paradise Valley. It is signed by the president of the Realty One Group offices, Pat Kelly. He signs that on January 1st and uploads that. So it is there. I usually download it within the first 2 weeks of January. So I have it in my own computer and can grab it anytime I need it. If you need the originating brokerage's real estate license, I don't believe that that is there, but you can get that off of AZRE or you can check with Kat. So
For our, like a license for, no,
For our
that's not in there, but you can call us. We'll get it
yeah,
to you.
you can get it. So, and then they do ask you to let them know if the client has given the permission to initiate this referral or not. And then IRS and originating brokerage. So, now here's the thing. If for some reason the receiving brokerage is unable or unwilling to service the client, the receiving brokerage shall immediately notify the originating brokerage and shall not refer client to any other brokerage or salesperson. So if you're working with John with Keller Williams in Connecticut, right? If John can't handle the file anymore, they do not have the right to pass that on to somebody else. You guys are being awful. It does not help. Shall not, I know, refer the client to any other brokerage.
Sorry, I'll be
So relocation company. So sometimes we do get these through relocation companies. The originating brokerage is or is not aware that client is represented by a relocation company. Why is that important, guys? Does anybody know what relocation companies charge? If you're doing a referral agreement and you are paying a referral and you have to pay a relocation company, you are getting about this much on the deal. So please be aware of that. Look into that and make sure that you know that information. Here is our legal stuff. I'm just a few minutes over, but basically the state of Arizona does cover all of this. Arizona statute 322155 mandates that a broker shall employ and pay only active licensees. This is that broker to broker, right? We have to pay the other brokerage or they're paying us. It cannot be to an individual. Copies and counterparts, that's pretty standard. And this is your entire agreement. It really is a very short agreement. I don't know, I haven't seen many people put stuff in the addenda or attachments. Here's the thing, and I've seen this on other referral forms, not our Arizona one. Oftentimes, you have to sign as the agent, I have to sign as the broker. I recommend you print my name in the bottom there. Let's see if I have that on here. Hopefully I did. So, and put comma managing broker there, because I'm not the designated broker, I'm the managing broker, so it's helpful to have that in there. Many other company forms do state that you have to say the title. And again, I get these all the time with me to sign, and I can't edit, I can't put my name in there, and you're leaving that blank. I don't know if the other company's gonna even allow that or not. So, please fill that in that way so I can take care of it and get it done. Type my name and my title, and then set up in DigiSign, AuthentiSign, or DocuSign. For some reason, I actually do not have a signing program literally on my computer. Yes, I can get to it by going into all of those, but if you will set it up for me, it saves a lot of time. I will go ahead and sign it. Again, if you do not fill it out or complete it, I am not proofing that on that. You want to send me a referral form? I'm signing it for you. You should be, if you can send out a referral and you want to get paid on it, you should be able to fill that form out. Send directly to me at melissa.schwartzrealty1group.com. Some folks have gone on and used my email that is in Flex MLS or ARMLS. Please don't use that. Use my office email and I will sign it immediately. Normally, when you see this on the bottom of a document, you will know that it means that you're supposed to load this in, and unfortunately my cheat is there in 72 hours. I did have a question there, but obviously put the answer in first. Should be entered into SkySlope within 72 hours. This is the only time that does not apply unless you are sending a seller referral out and you know the address of the listing, then you can load it into SkySlope. Otherwise, you do have to wait until they've gone under contract and you know that the file is actually closing. And then you would upload it at that point. Wait until the buyer's under contract and try to get the address and close of escrow date out of the referral agent. It is very helpful. That should be it. So let me get out of there. Woohoo! Stop sharing. Thank you guys so much. Any questions from anybody? Nope.
I think I screwed up my referral, so when Kyle gets home and has his Adobe that he pays for on his laptop, I will get you guys a new one. Tell Roberta I will get it ASAP to her. I'm sorry.
Are you talking about the CDI and not the referral?
Yeah, the CDI. So
Yeah.
I just
I
put in
asked
for-
last night. You said no, I got it all fine. I was like, okay,
Well, I thought I did. No, I
morning.
just the W-9 is there, but they've got like 3 different names on their W-9, and I just put the agent's name in for the referral name. So
Nope. Nope. Gotta be the company. Broker pays a broker.
perfect.